13 most brutal battles involving chameleons. So, let's begin. Number 13. Chameleon attacks birds. Chameleons are usually pretty sensible when it comes to hunting and attacking other animals for food. They are aware that most birds are simply too big for their tummies and wouldn't even try gobbling them. However, some of these lizards may just be feeling a bit too adventurous. The bird is sitting without a care in the world and isn't even facing the chameleon. The bird thinks it is safe from the lizard's attacks. Clearly, it misunderstood the situation. In just a while, the chameleon launches its powerful tongue towards the bird, but the prey flaps its wings and slips away from the lizard's grasp. Number 12. Chameleon fights. Before moving on to other creatures, let's just get this out of the way. Yes, chameleons do get into fights with each other. Usually, male chameleons are known to challenge each other to settle disputes over a female or over territory, and in such cases, their skin takes on a brighter shade. In our first clip, we see two chameleons size each other up from a distance. A fight is imminent here, and soon, the two lizards lock heads, quite literally. They try to bite and push each other around. Both also try to go for the other's belly. After a brief breather, the two fighters come back for round 2. Neither is going to back down, are they? Unlike the last one, this fight takes place on a tree. As both chameleons try to push their respective opponents off the branch, it's an exciting match. After some back and forth, the brownish contender grabs hold of the green chameleon in its jaws. Then, it dangles the green one off the branch for a while before letting go. The opponent falls, and the victor is crowned. Number 11. Chameleon versus snakes. You'd think snakes would be safe against chameleon attacks, and for the most part, you'd be right. Snakes are known to prey on chameleons instead. However, the larger chameleons frequently target and kill snakes, especially if the serpent in question is smaller and not as strong. In this clip, a snake spots a chameleon on the ground and quickly starts attacking it. The chameleon doesn't retaliate, but only puffs up to make itself look bigger. However, this tactic isn't working as the snake continues to harass the lizard for a while. At one point, the chameleon literally uses one of its limbs to push the serpent off from its body. We can't be sure, but that does look like a boomslang, a highly venomous snake. If that's the case, this chameleon is likely history. In this clip too, it's a chameleon versus a boomslang. The snake has the lizard in its clutches at the beginning, but the chameleon fights back hard. It kicks and tries to outrun the highly venomous opponent. Still, regardless of all the fighting, this chameleon doesn't really have much time left if it has been bitten. The snake is unable to close the deal here, as it is likely spooked by the chameleon's presence. Number 10. Chameleon attacks snail. By now, you know that chameleons aren't too impressive in the speed department. While their tongue can shoot out at exceptional speeds, they can't really run all that fast. So it should come as no surprise that chameleons love to snack on snails, a creature that's slower than them. Here, a snail is trudging along without a care in the world, completely oblivious to the fact that a chameleon is stalking it in the background. The snail hangs around on a leaf a bit too long, and the chameleon readies itself and takes the shot. Its sticky tongue captures the prey, and the lizard gulps it down immediately. Number 9. Chameleon attacks lizard. Apart from fighting against their own kind, chameleons also go up against other members of their family too. There are several species of lizards in the world, each with their own distinct looks and characteristics. For chameleons though, they might as well all be enemies. As you can see here, this particular lizard decided to play with fire when it climbed up on a branch where a chameleon is sitting. With its tremendous vision, it doesn't take long for the chameleon to spot the trespasser nearby. It sits still for a while, only moving its eyes. Then, when the lizard is close enough, the attacker moves ever so slowly and slyly before launching its incredible tongue at the prey. Then, little by little, the green hunter swallows the lizard whole. Number 8. Chameleon eats fly. Have you ever tried swatting a fly? If you have, then you know just how agile these bugs can be, escaping your hands no matter how quick you are. So, to capture flies, you need to be even faster than them. The chameleon's tongue has this part covered. This chameleon is an expert at catching flies, as it reels in multiple bugs in the span of just a few seconds. At normal speed, you can't even see the lizard's tongue come shooting out. It's just that fast. Who needs a fly swatter when you have one of these chameleons as a pet? In this clip, these fruit flies are on the radar of the baby chameleons. Even though the hunters are amateurs themselves, they still seem to know exactly how to capture and feed on the tiny flies. It's as if these chameleons were born with the ability to control their tongues perfectly. It's fascinating to watch for sure. Here, another chameleon pet owner uses the animal as a bug exterminator. The person carries the animal to the place where there's a fly roaming around. The chameleon takes a bit of time to zero in on the fly's position and prepare the attack. Then, in the blink of an eye, the fly is history as it gets picked up and swallowed. Number 7. Chameleon attacks cockroach. As we've seen in the previous clips, chameleons are impeccable bug hunters. Just like flies, roaches also often make up a chameleon's daily diet, and catching and murdering these bugs seem to be just as simple for this lizard. A chameleon takes a look at a container with several roaches on display. The predator doesn't strike immediately and seems to be considering which of the roaches would make for a great lunch. Well, chameleons can be picky eaters too, especially if they have many options in front of them. After putting in some thought, the chameleon finally seals the fate of one unfortunate roach. Its tongue does all the work in one fluid motion. Number 6. Chameleon eats spider. It's difficult to predict who'd win when chameleons and spiders face off. A lot would depend on the size of the contenders and the fact whether the spider in question is venomous. But without venom, spiders face significant threat from a chameleon. But rather than simply pondering about it, let's see what happens. In this exciting clip, a chameleon stalks an orb-weaver spider. Although this particular spider has a paralyzing venom, the chameleon relies on the element of surprise to complete its intended hunt. As the lizard moves forward across the trees, it mimics branches swaying in the wind. With a tongue twice as long as its body, the chameleon launches an attack when it is close enough to strike. The dangerous spider has almost no time to react before it is pulled into its predator's mouth. The speed and force of the pull was such that 2 of the spider's legs remain stuck in its web. Number 5. Chameleon eats mantis. The praying mantis is known as a highly capable predator, taking on animals much larger and stronger. Very few creatures that the mantis targets are able to come out of that face-off alive. But do you think that a chameleon stands a chance against the praying mantis? Or would the chameleon, just like many others, fall victim to the mantis's brutalities? A chameleon and a praying mantis are pitted against each other here. The mantis is no easy prey, but the lizard doesn't think twice about approaching it. It takes a stealthy approach, moving slowly to avoid alerting its opponent too early. Then, when it's in the perfect distance, the tongue strikes and pulls the mantis in. But this isn't going to be as easy as swallowing a fly. The praying mantis immediately fights back, using its front limbs to attack. It holds on to the chameleon's skin for dear life, but the size difference is simply too much to overcome. Slowly and steadily, the mantis is getting pulled until its head is engulfed too. Taking down a praying mantis? Now that's a boss move. In this clip, the mantis and the chameleon are both smaller than the last one. Recorded in slow motion, the clip perfectly shows just how much of a struggle it was for the chameleon here. Even though the mantis is tiny, its strong appendages allow it to hold on to the leaf for a while, even when the chameleon's strong tongue tugs at it. The lizard lets go and falls back, while the mantis takes up a fighting stance. The tongue lashes out again and grabs the mantis's head squarely this time around. But even so, this one isn't going down without a fight. The chameleon has to literally move towards the mantis since it can't pull it back. After dangling for a while, the attacker finally manages to dislodge and overcome this feisty praying mantis. Number 4. Chameleon eats cricket. Fortunately, not all of the chameleon's prey can put up as much of a fight as the praying mantises. For example, crickets can rarely do anything to protect themselves when being stalked and targeted by chameleons. They lack the strength of defensive abilities necessary to survive such attacks. 3 crickets are presented to this chameleon as its lunch. Although the crickets are very much alive at this point, they don't seem to have any intent of escaping or fighting back when the chameleon comes into the picture. One by one, all 3 crickets are captured and gobbled up by the lizard. Now that's what we call a perfect lunch. In this one, both the cricket and the chameleon in question are significantly bigger. The color and the movements of the hunter ensures that the cricket can't even see it approaching, even though crickets are known to have brilliant vision. Just before the chameleon strikes, the cricket turns towards its attacker and is about to nonchalantly move towards it. Seeing this, the attacking reptile doesn't waste any more time and just captures and gulps its prey. Number 3. Chameleon eats grasshopper. Grasshoppers are named so because of their strong hind legs that allow them to jump and hop out of the way of approaching danger. But the question is whether they can hop away quicker than a chameleon's tongue. Well, let's just take a look at how grasshoppers fare against such an opponent. This grasshopper must be able to see the chameleon, right? I mean, it's right there in front of it. Even so, the bug pretends nothing is wrong and keeps still, letting the predator come closer and closer. Then, as you'd assume, the chameleon makes short work of the grasshopper, reeling it in with its sticky tongue. After that, it's just a matter of softening the insect up before swallowing it whole. Number 2. Chameleon attacks frog. Surely, chameleons wouldn't be able to take on frogs, or can they? There are diverse frog species, not only when it comes to their geographical locations, but also varied sizes. While chameleons can still manage to take on a smaller member of the frog family, they surely can't target the bigger ones. A frog dangles from a tree, minding its own business. A chameleon sees this and thinks it has a chance to overpower the amphibian. It approaches this hunt like any other, slowly making its way closer to striking distance. Then, it shoots out its tongue and is able to hit the frog. However, the frog is simply too powerful as it leaps from that branch to a different one. This evasive action surprises the chameleon too, it seems, as the attacker quickly drops and vanishes from sight. Clearly, it overestimated its hunting abilities here. Number 1. Chameleon eats worms. Worms are perhaps a chameleon's favorite meal. These worms can't fight back, and they are filing, so what's not to like? Even chameleon pet owners tend to keep their beloved companion on a diet of worms. Let's see what it looks like when a chameleon snatches worms and gulps them down. On the menu for this chameleon is a fat and plump hornworm. The prey sits around as the lizard spies it from a distance and then slowly walks up towards it. Then, with a swift movement of its tongue, most of the hornworm gets inside its mouth. All this hornworm can do is wiggle while being ingested alive. This chameleon owner holds a worm in front of the pet. The chameleon eyes the worm intently, and you can see its tongue ready to strike. After keeping watch over the worm for a while, the colorful lizard makes its move and starts munching on the still very much alive prey. The worm can do very little in this situation and simply becomes the chameleon's lunch. That's all the time we have for you today. Which of these clips did you find the most fascinating? Did you learn anything new about chameleons from the video? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like the video and share it with family and friends. If you aren't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Bye!